20 years later, I took him over there and showed him the spot. He
Hmm.
was in the army and I was with the mission, so we went and found the place.
Hmm.
And it was the hunger was gripping us stronger and stronger. Probably the only time, the only day that they gave you enough food was on Sunday.
Hmm.
But the rest of the week was very skimpy.
Hmm.
In the end of February, the barracks were not heated. It was cold and damp, and they took our family and another family and moved us in a little room. The room was like from my chair to this here.
Oh wow. Oh my.
That's our family of 9,
Mm.
7 children and parents, and another family had 4 children and parents. So that's 9 and 6, 15 people in one room. And my baby sister had no place to sleep, so they made some kind of basket and tied it to the ceiling, and that's where the baby slept. And then all the children began to catch cold and sickness and a whooping cough, and the little baby contracted a whooping cough, and it wasn't getting better. There was no medical attention of any kind, and turned into pneumonia, and the little girl died. One night she just stopped breathing. And so the camp management took the baby and put it in a vegetable cellar. It was outside, opposite from the kitchen. In the yard, there was a hole dug in the ground with a door to it, kind of halfway into the ground. That's where they kept the vegetables for the kitchen. And they put the baby there. And it stayed there 3 days and 3 nights. And my father would go early in the morning to work and come back, and he looked like a black man because he had some days he had to shovel the black coal on the trains, and so he'd come home like black man, and then he and mother would go down that vegetable and probably an hour weep over the child. They didn't know the Lord yet. They didn't know any comfort. And then the government took the baby and they buried her somewhere.
You don't even know where.
Well, they may have told my parents, but they wouldn't know. They were not allowed to roam the city. So that was Buchholz's experience. But apparently in that particular area there were quite a few Christians, because from time to time somebody would break their law and help us, give us bread or a stamps for bread. And one day my brother Nick was a year and a half old, younger than myself. And we were dug under the fence, and on the edge of this huge hole in the ground where the city dump was, we were building a fortress for ourselves. So we dug out the hole maybe 3 feet deep already. We were working hard. We were imagining that we were fighting war, and we needed a fortress. And this was on Sunday, just before noon. Nice weather it was. It was already in sometime in the middle of March. And I hear somebody going, "Whoo!" like that. That's how Germans would call each other. there on the street to
Mm.
get attention. That hoo-hoo. So we got out, didn't see anybody. So we were working again, hoo-hoo. This time I got out real quick. I see this girl. It's like from here to your car, the distance.
Mm.
She was halfway out of the bushes. A girl, maybe 13 years old,
Mm.
with the hair braided and nicely dressed,
Mm.
and she's showing like this.
Mm.
So we run up there, and she, behind the bush, she had a nice basket
Mm.
covered with a towel,
Wow.
and she pulled the towel off, and there was this big, beautiful cake.
Mm.
The Germans call it Kuchen.
Mm.
It's like crumb cake,
Mm.
just baked, beautiful. And so she gave it to us, and she told us,
Mm.
motioned that we were to go back, and she was sitting behind the bush until we got all the way to where this hole was under the fence. As we looked back, she waved goodbye to us, and she took off to the city, and we brought the cake in.
Mm.
It was like a miracle.
Mm. Mm.
When I was over there in the 60s, that's 20 years after all this happening,
Mm.
my brother served in the army. One day we decided to drive from Frankfurt all the way to, actually he was in Mannheim, another 80 kilometers south from Frankfurt.
Mm.
So he came to my place, and then we went by car 350 kilometers to Hanover
Mm.
to find the camps, and I found the man who was giving us the alphabet macaroni.
Mm.
I went looking for the store, and it's interesting that in my memory I thought the store was on the right,
Mm.
but actually it was on the left
Mm.
of the street.
Mm.
And I thought the store had maybe 4 or 5 steps up, but it was only 2 steps.
Mm. Mm.
And now the same store was not a grocery store, but a hardware store.
Mm-hmm.
So I walked in there, and I asked the attendant there if I asked her if she speaks English to make it easier. She was a young lady,
Mm-hmm.
and she did.
Mm.
She spoke English. Instead of struggling with my German,
Mm-hmm.
I told her why I am there, and I said I would like to ask you if you know this person. The person who worked in the store during the war.
Mm.
And she looked surprised at me.
Mm.
And she said, "How did you know him?"
Mm.
I said, "I'll tell you later."
Mm.
"Do you know him?" "Oh yes," she says. I said to her, "Do you know where he lives?" "Yes, I do."
Mm.
I said, "I would like to see him really badly. Would you help us to find him?" She told the other workers to take care of business, and she got in the car with us, and she said, "I will take you there myself." She was so fascinated. Why is it that we are looking for this man? She had no idea. She thought we were just Americans because we speak English. And she takes us to, in Germany they have, on the edge of city, the government, the local government issues land that you can use like a rental from the city. If the city wants to expand, they can reclaim that land, but as long as they don't build anything, you can use it. And sometimes it's a long time. And they allow little houses to build their temporary houses. So she brings us to this garden, and here's this pretty gate and fence, and there's a little house in the garden, everything neat. So she presses the button, and electric buzzer, and the man walks out from the house. It's like like from your car to the fence. He walks up, and the street is higher than his property, so we're kind of looking down towards him. And he said, "Why are you here? Whom are you looking for?" And she said to him, "These are two Americans came and they said they know you. They wanted to talk to you." So he's standing there, and I prepared a big jar of instant coffee. I bought Nescafe in the American store. They had military stores there, and chocolates and other things. Prepared the gifts for him, and I had everything packaged together. And I said to him that we're the children that you were giving us the alphabet macaroni. Do you remember that? He was shocked. He couldn't believe his own eyes. Couldn't believe that somebody would remember that. And so I said that we brought you a little gift to say thank you for saving our lives in time like that. And I'm handing this over the fence, and he's not raising his arms to take it. I said, "Please take it." And as he takes it, the tears were coming to his eyes, and he was saying, it's sort of like, I don't know if you saw the movie, The Schindler's List.
No.
You gotta see that movie. And Schindler was the one who saved a lot of Jewish people by buying them from this man who ran the camp.
Yeah.
And in the end, he was saying, "I could have done more. I could have done more." He regretted he didn't do more. And so this was our encounter with this person, and this lady was